welcome to Book World: The Great Escape. I'm author, as I said, author C.J. Peterson. Over there is author Michael Scott Clifton. We had some scheduling conflicts going on this week, so you're stuck with us. We're going to be talking about a hot topic this week. It's going to be regarding AI assisted versus AI generated. We had to move our scheduling person. That's not even a word. This person we had scheduled this week. We shifted her to the 19th and we moved our topic to this week. Next week, we will be having author Pam, so I can pronounce this correctly. Is it Kump?
Yes.
K-U-M-P? Who will be, her genre is mystery. Woo! Before we get into our hot topic this week, Mike, how is things in your author world going?
Well, it's been kind of a rough week health wise. Um, I it's I don't know how it is in Oklahoma, but for here in East Texas, it's got hot and dry, and so I mowed uh, Monday or Tuesday, and wore the face mask and the dust mask, and all that, and I don't know, ended up being croupy for the rest of the week, and had to end up going to the old doc and getting a shot for allergies and crap like that. So anyway, and then Melanie seems like she's suffering from the same thing. So we've had kind of a rough week in terms of, I mean, it's that kind of stuff doesn't is not life threatening. It's just if you've ever had that kind of allergy stuff, it just it's hard to sleep. It's hard to be. It's just it's irritating. Uh, it's hard to get a lot of rest. But anyway, um, starting next month, actually this weekend, we'll be hopefully feeling better. But we'll be at the Belton, the Bell County Comic Con in Belton, Texas, which is around Temple, Belton, there, share a border. And it's one of the bigger Comic Cons that we go to. And thankfully, it's only a 2-day con on Saturday and Sunday. It will be at the Bell County Convention Center, and we've always done real well there. And then next, and I think that runs into actually August. It's really the first, it's the first weekend of August. Then following that, there is an author fest, which is at the Walworth Memorial Library in Greenville, Texas, and I think they're going to have 70 something authors there, and we're looking forward to that. And I think we talked about this at a couple episode last week or before. These kind of things are a good chance to connect with other authors because that's all that's going to be there. And I like being able to rub shoulders and talk with other authors and see how they're doing. Old friends and stuff that we work with, and I'm sure you know quite a few of them as well, CJ. And then, of course, the Piney Woods Comic Con, which, of course, you are actively involved in, will be at the end of August, and that'll be in Lufkin. And I believe that is August 29th and 30th.
Yep.
And hopefully a little cooler by then. We'll see. But anyway, that's what's going on.
Awesome. Well, Mommy's already said, great topic. AI has become such a controversial subject and really needs to be looked at logically. So, yes, definitely. In my author world, we have, like I said, the Piney Woods Comic Con up in Lufkin. I'm super excited for that. That's on the 19th or the 29th and 30th of August. Looking forward to that one. I have revamped my Galadriel, so that's probably the one I will be wearing on Sunday. So super excited for that one. And then in market calendars for this one in Victoria, Texas, we have Victoria Fan Fest on the 19th and 20th of September. Those are the next two coming up for me. I'll be running the floor, and so tons of fun for those. For me, I love those. As far as my writing world, we are nearing the multi-author fantasy one that has dragons in it. Nearing that book is nearing completion, so super excited for that. And then I can get back to the trilogy, the fantasy one for that one, and that's in the Renaissance time. So I'm super excited for that one. That has my Magic Mickey Mischief sisters and their spouses in that one, including mine. So I'm super excited to get back to that one. But I got to finish the multi-author one. So then we can move on to book 2 for that particular trilogy. So that one is nearing completion. You're starting to echo. Oof. So I'm gonna hold off. So that one's nearing completion. So hoping to get that one launched here pretty soon. But that one's getting really close to that point. So I'm super excited for that. Okay, so again, we're talking about the hot topic of AI assisted versus AI generated. We've had a lot of AI stuff going on, and everyone goes head to head on that one. When it comes to AI, um, a lot of people are very passionate about the subject, and being an being authors, we are too. Nothing beats the imagination of the author themselves. I'm going to start off putting that out there, and I believe Mike is with me on that.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Nothing beats it hands down, um, especially when it comes to the fact that AI is going to pull it offline from somewhere. We're just going to put that out there right now. It's got to pull it from somewhere, folks. So we're going to start off there. There are a lot of tools out there. I have a list of tools. I went ahead and pulled those offline that can help you. So there are AI assisted tools that you can use, but AI generated means that the whole thing is written by AI.
Hmm.
And you slap your name on there and you say, "Hey, I wrote a book." No, you didn't. You did not write it. Um, AI wrote it, and chances are they pulled it from somebody else's work.
That's right.
That's what AI generated is, and that means you did not write a book.
Nope.
Flat out, no, you did not.
You lied if you said that.
Yes, you are a liar. You are not an author. Whatever AI that you pulled it from wrote it, and that flat out is, I don't care if I get a hate mail for it, that is, you did not write that book.
Back in the day, that used to be called plagiarism.
That is plagiarism,
Yep.
because it's been pulled from somebody else. That's what AI does. You didn't write it. You're not an author. You didn't write it. Flat out. End of story. Period. Whatever you want to put. Exclamation point. Now, there are different tools. There's a lot of different tools that are out there that you can use to assist. This is the assisted side. There's Grammarly, Spellcheck, Quillbot, Pseudowrite, Jenny AI, Surfer SEO, Reword, Jasper, Describely, Paragraph AI, Chat, GPT, AI Writer, Reword, Article Forge, and Hypotenuse. So there's a whole bunch of them out there, and we're going to be talking about some of those today. Have you heard of any of those, Mike?
Oh yeah, yeah, and very familiar with them. And if anyone's been writing for any, well, the older like Grammarly and all those people, that's been around for a while. People, most authors have used some sort of writing aid or something like that for 20, 30 years now. But it's like you said, it's when you cross the line from helping you as to actually doing all the work for you. And I think that's the bridge too far. And what you said pretty much sums it up, that if you let AI basically write it for you, your story, then you didn't write it at all. You just pulled it from the pot that AI pulls from, which is somebody else's work.
Exactly. I think this is
Uh,
having a hard time seeing it. Daniel D. Alexis is here. Hi, Daniel. So yeah, pretty much that's not writing. Um,
no, no,
Now there are different tools that you can write, and I actually did have an author one time ask me. He's like, sometimes I have a hard time organizing things, so sometimes I use AI to help organize it. That's not a bad thing.
no.
Sometimes organizing, sometimes we need a little bit of help organizing, our thoughts. So that's a tool. You can use that
Mhm.
because that's not actually rewriting it. That's not writing it for you. Writing it for you
It's
is
writing it for you.
the
That's
generator part. Okay,
uh,
now let's look at some of these tools. So Grammarly, you use them all the time. That's your spell check, that's your punctuation, that checks to make sure your tone is coming across correctly. Okay, we use those all the time. That's the same thing as spell check. We use those. Hello, that's an editing thing. Sometimes it does it on your phone automatically. Sometimes it'll do it on a computer automatically. It annoys the tar out of me sometimes because I don't want it to fix it, and it does it anyway. Quillbot. This was a new one that I ran across. It's useful for quick paraphrasing, summarizing, and alternative phrasing. Has a grammar checker, plagiarism checker, ding ding ding, an article summarizer, and an article citation generator, and a translator. I thought that was unique. So that one is called Quillbot. Now, some of these you have to pay for, some of them are free. And you have to look them up and figure them out which ones they are and which ones they aren't. So Quillbot is that one. Um, so that one's kind of a unique one. Pseudo right. Now, this one, being a pantser, would drive me nuts, but for someone who's a planner, this is right up your alley. It's built explicitly for fiction and creative writing to help with pacing, sensory details, and plotting. Best for creative writing, designed to support creative writing rather than business content creation. Breaks down the creative writing process into 9 steps. Are you feeling me for the planner here? And provides tools to help with each one. Starts with a brainstorming tool that generates ideas for characters, setting, and plot, and then Canvas where you can start to flesh out, organize them. Once you start writing, the writing tool helps you overcoming writer's block. That is like a planner's dream. Uh, that is a pantser's nightmare. So that one is called pseudo write. So that could kind of help you organize everything in your thoughts and stuff. Pseudo write. So that's a great tool. It sounds like to help you with that. Helps you like brainstorm and flesh out your characters and all that fun stuff and keep everything nice and organized. So planners, there's a tool for you. Um, Pantsers, that's a nightmare for you. Um, that's an AI tool for you. Um, Jenny AI, tailored for academic and research heavy writing with built-in reference tracking and citations. So that's another one. Surfer SEO, that one's just for optimized for content marketers who need keyword briefs and real-time optimization scores. That's not really anything we need. Reword, best all-around writing assist is designed to support your writing, not to do the writing for you. Oh, did you hear that? Doesn't do the writing for you. Coming up with ideas, researching topics, correction improvement, and SEO optimization. Doesn't do the writing for you. Those are the ones you're looking for. Jaspers, best for business content creation at scale, has SEO optimization and grammar, great for business and marketing content. Get more than 50 content templates. So that gives you some templates to kind of base stuff off of. It doesn't do the writing for you. So you catch in the drift on some of these. They don't do the writing for you. These are tools. These are assisted, not generated. Are you hearing the difference between these guys? Describably, this is formerly Copysmith. Product descriptions. What does that sound like? It gives you product descriptions. That sounds more like AI generated. It's probably not one that you're looking for. Mombi suggests there's definitely a huge difference between allowing AI to create something for you rather than building your own creation, like brainstorming and editing. Yeah. This describerly sounds more like AI generated versus AI
Mhm.
assisted. Paragraph AI, free 5 times per day. Text generation. That is not a tool, that is a generation. Here's one that actually is an issue. This is a huge issue. This next one, Chat GPT.
Oh yeah.
This one has been proven to be AI generated versus AI assisted.
We at the um, Longview or the East Texas Comic Con, I had a person come up to me and said they had written a book using Chat GPT, and um, I said, well, that's great, um, good luck, but and and the way they phrased it and talked about it was almost, I mean, no there was no reluctance to do that at all. It's like, hey, this is okay. This is what everybody's doing. So this is what I'm going to do too, which is kind of scary when you think about it. Um, because if that's what this individual actually believes, they must have some purpose or reason for that, which means there's other people that they talk with or been around that are doing exactly the same thing.
Now, unless I'm mistaken, I do believe that Amazon has you check if it's an AI written book when you go to upload it.
Right. They do, but I'm not sure. I mean, I've never been quite sure how they check. I've heard that if you use too many M dashes, that somehow that's a sign that you may be using uh, AI. In which case, I'm in trouble because I've been using I've been using M dashes for 15 going on 20 years now. So I don't know. Um, I've never fully understood exactly what check marks they look for, what hallmarks they look for that makes it quote an AI generated topic. And unless they're just asking you, the author that is, to be honest about it, and they take your word for it one way or the other.
I mm, I know that they go through it when they put it up. They kind of scan through it because it takes time to process. So maybe there's something in the processing that it picks up on.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they have. If they're scanning, it's not a human being. They've got a program that's doing that. I guess who knows? I mean, I'm not. I don't really know what hallmarks. Again, what are the key things they look for that makes. But I've been on some author forums, where I've heard that being a common complaint about some of these authors who have actually written their own books having issues with Amazon because they used, for example, again, too many M dashes,
Hmm.
and you know.
For
Uh,
those who are listening or watching, explain what an M dash is so they're aware.
so an M dash is instead of a comma, if you want a hard pause, instead of just a brief pause, which a comma provides. That's what an M dash does. It brings a statement to a complete halt, an abrupt halt. For example, if somebody interrupts your character while they're talking and they're not allowed to finish the sentence, or if some sudden noise or something like that happens, where again it cuts off the dialogue that a character is speaking. Usually, it's during well, it is during dialogue. It cuts dialogue off in a hard stop, which is what the author must want because something has suddenly happened to do that. So it's a solid line, okay, and there's different ways of putting an M dash. I just do the dash dash enter. It's a solid line backspace, and you have the M dash. But I use them quite a bit to. And I don't know what. Well, I say quite a bit. I don't. I've never really took a survey of other authors. Well, how many M dashes do you use in the course of a book or something like that? So really, all I know is that
I
they're
use
part of the way I
I
write.
use them in speaking, but in speaking, I
Yeah,
also
in dialogue. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
finish off with, either period, exclamation point, question mark, whatever, and finish off in the quote. So it's obvious it's in a quote.
yeah,
So it should pick up that it's in a
yeah.
quote and not just
Right.
in a
And I don't, for people listening to the podcast, I'm
author.
not I'm
But
not
that should
saying
make it
that.
obvious that an author is writing it and it's not in it.
Like I said, I have um, other than what I've read in some author forums, I don't know this to be an absolute fact with Amazon, but the fact that I've heard the complaint more than a few times in the author forums, about hey, my book got tagged because I had too many M dashes or something like that. So um, maybe you do a little research on that. But
Yeah. So the wild thing about GTP is that you can choose from dozens of options for tone, vocabulary, style, and language, and it supports 20 different languages. So that is kind of unique about it, but it is still it generates. So that's an AI generated. Now, AI writer is best for avoiding plagiarism, specializes in generating long form content, but also includes full reference list of where it got its information from. Lets you check the wording to make sure that there's no straight copies. You can use the reference for as citations for full disclosure of your sources. You can fact check everything from the draft. So while
Right.
it does generate, it tells you where it pulls it from, but it's still generated.
Right.
It's not assisted, it's generated. Writer is an all around text generation. RYTR. Writer, text generation, not assist, generated. Reword, all around writing assistance. We're back to assisted versus generated. Article Forge, creating long form content, which means it's generated.
Right.
Abundance, ample form content, which means it's again
Generated.
generated. There you go. Ends my list. Do you have any you'd like to add to that list, Mike?
Well, I mean, I just want to, state that there's nothing wrong with writing assistance
Mm-hmm.
programs, whether they're the old school type, or the ones that are now powered by AI. I mean, I would think an author would be foolish not to use those tools or instruments, to help, your writing. If you're wanting to make sure the grammar is correct, you didn't misspell something, you didn't put a comma or a period in the wrong place or even needed one. There's nothing wrong with like synonym checks. Hey, what are some other words or terms that I could use?
Thesaurus.
Um,
I
no,
use thesaurus all the time. I
yeah,
use the emotional
I
thesaurus all the
mean,
time. I use tools.
right, and AI can be a tool like that. I know that with Microsoft Word and Microsoft Office with Microsoft Word, which is a very common writing tool that many people use. They offer Copilot with that, and Copilot is an AI assisted tool, but it can do everything for you, from do the grammar checks, do the spell checks. You can ask for synonym. What are some words like this? You can even ask, okay, is this phrase, does this phrase sound right? It's a AI generated program. But I think the danger with using programs like Copilot, CJ, is they start off with you, the author, using them in an AI assisted way. But like a drug addict or an alcoholic, once you start using it, you use it more
Hmm.
and more and more until it's practically doing the writing for you. And I know that because I've used it, and I have to fight the temptation myself. So I can easily see how someone, that especially someone that's new to writing, or maybe even a veteran writer who's just maybe a little tired. I don't know. Can rely more and more on AI to help them finish something, to write something for them. So I do think there's nothing wrong with assistive AI, and I think that every author should use them and use them to the best of their advantage. But I also think there's a cautionary tale there, because I now, with programs like Copilot, they may start out as they can be fully uh, AI generated uh, help if you allow yourself to fall into that pit, and we talked about this before. I'm not going to beat this horse. All the leather's already been beaten all off it. But I've always, still don't understand how, if you are a creative person and you're writing a story that is unique to your experiences and your thoughts and your imagination, how you get any kind of satisfaction or achievement out of letting a computer program do all the work for you. And so I'm just going to leave it there. Uh, you know, if you want to use AI assisted, great. It's there. It's meant to be used, but you need to be very careful that you don't cross the line and let it start doing all the work for you.
be honest, half the time spell check looks at me and goes, "I got nothing." So I stopped using a lot of AI tools anyway. Monby says, "I don't know about authors, but everyday life we use AI and don't even think about autocorrect, GPS, search engines, streaming recommendations, bank fraud detection, and so many more," which is true. She said, "To be honest, I'm terrible at spelling and punctuation. I can't imagine not using that tool." That's true, but that's why I have an editor. Um, half the time that's true. That's why I have an editor. Um, and I pay her very well for her editing services, content and copy. Like I said, half the time I would put it in there. I would probably look at me and go, "I got nothing. I don't even know how you came up with that sentence." So, yeah, it probably laugh at me. So I wouldn't even attempt to even use it. So I just run with my own stuff
I,
half the time anyway.
I will add this. I've taught college courses at the community college out here at Northeast Texas Community College, and they've had this as a routine part of the their educational program there. That they actually have one of the programs. I don't remember which one. It sounded familiar to you that you had talked about earlier, where they use it when students turn in written work.
Hmm.
It's actually a tool, an AI tool that they can use to see if AI is what produced the student's answers or did the writing for the student. It's kind of sad it's come to that, but I actually think they've been using that some sort of tool like that for even when I was doing that, and that's been 15 years ago. But in colleges and universities now, it's so endemic that they're actually having to use these computer tools, AI tools, to screen the students' work to make sure that it wasn't just copied verbatim, uh, you know, but because of AI,
Yeah.
so
When I went to college, it would literally highlight the sections that was pulled off of online. It would highlight it for you.
really,
Yeah, my psychology professor showed us a page, and it would show you exactly what was highlighted in different colors. It would show you the highlighted portions that was pulled offline.
well, plagiarism has always been a problem in college and universities, or even in high school. Um, but it's gone up a whole lot. I mean, it's been a whole lot easier now because of AI to try to game the system and let something else do the work for you, do your writing for you.
This We have a comment from Homeschool Mama Drama says, "That's true. My sister teaches English and has a lot of students try to use AI for the papers. It's true, and
Yeah.
it's brutal. And it's like, just use your brain. I mean, people need to use their brain more, and it's the best tool you got.
Well,
And
writing is a form of
very brutal.
communication. Yeah, it's a form of communication, and
Hmm.
if you can't communicate, it's hard to it's hard to have a normal. Um, well, in the human race, you've got to be able to communicate, and the written word is a very important way to communicate.
Definitely. Well, on that note, try to do more. You can use AI assisted tools, and there's a
Right.
lot that I mentioned on here. But there's a difference between AI assisted and AI generated. So know what you're using. Make
Yep.
sure you
Don't
know the
cross the line.
there is a fine line there. Um, and there's a lot of books out there, like I said, there's the Emotional Thesaurus that has a ton of great stuff out there.
Hmm.
There is the actual thesaurus. There are, Grammarly, there's spell check, there's a ton of assisted tools out there that you can use that are either AI assisted or just actual books that you can use, or tools out there online that you can use as an author that can help you out immensely in your writing and sharpen it up, and you can put out some great work out there just by using this tool right here, and it's the best tool on you. So put out some great works out there, guys, and put out some original works out there so we can get rid of those remakes. Toss them out to the side. Um, the best book you got out there starts in here.
That's
And you
right.
can't do anything to rewrite until you get it out there first. So get the sand in the box and get it out there and get it moving.
That's right.
Homeschool Mama Drama says, "True, it's a great tool and should not be abused. We don't want to see." True, absolutely true. In the meantime, next week we'll have Pam Kump, genre mystery. Woo! So we'll see you guys next week, 4 o'clock, same place. Bye.